Hi YouTube! Today we're going to be talking about the Taurus Gemini Cusp. So, if you haven't watched my intro video, this series is going to be about cusps, and more specifically, I'm talking about personal planets on cusps. So if you want to know more about what I classify as a cusp, you could go ahead and watch that video. So when you have a planet on a cusp, that means that you have a planet where the energy is changing, or the classification of the energy is changing. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a blend. So with the Taurus Gemini cusp, you're blending earthy energy with more air. So you're getting that fixed energy and that mutable energy together. And this has positives and negatives. So when we blend this energy, it actually is going to give you a sense of fun, but also a sense of practicality. And we're mixing the energies of Venus and Mercury. So you're going to find that you, especially if you have like the lower degrees of Gemini, you can get along with a lot of people very well and be adaptable to a lot of situations, but you won't just talk about like surface or silly issues. You'll be able, surface or silly like topics, you'll be able to talk about more practical issues or more pressing topics as well if the conversation flows that way. And you're not really gonna force it to go that way, but it won't be hard for you to adapt if the conversation flows in a manner. Gemini has this ability to like keep talking like a mile a minute, and Taurus tends to be a little bit more reserved with their speech. Like they speak when they have something important to say or when they've thought about what they're gonna say, whereas Gemini could just kind of like keep going. So you can be quick with your wit, but there is thought behind what you're saying, rather than, it'll be quick with your pacing, but there's going to be thought before you just start. There's not going to be as much word vomit, pretty much. And then if you have like the later degrees of Taurus, so like the 28 or the 29 degrees, you'll find that it'll be a little bit easier for you to communicate with different types of people. You won't be just so in your bubble. Obviously, it depends on what planet is on this cusp. So the planet is going to affect what matters of your life. So your sun sign is obviously going to affect the way that you're perceived. Your moon sign is going to affect how you feel, and we know what the planets do. So depending on the planet on the cusp, that's going to affect how this energy plays out in your life. So let me see what I wrote down here. Oh, this person is going to be fiercely independent. You're going to get whatever planets here, you're going to be independent in that regard because of the Taurus energy, but you'll also want to socialize. So you'll enjoy the company of other people, but you won't need other people in this area of your life. But they'll definitely help you by having, people around, whether it's friends, romantic partners. Again, it depends what area of your life this is, siblings, things like that. It'll definitely help you to have that social interaction, but it won't be necessary because you're fully capable of taking care of this area of your life on your own. However, one negative aspect to this cusp is that these are two signs that like Gemini does care about other people because they like to socialize, but with these two energies together, you might become a little self-centered in this area of your life, and it's not a selfish act. It's more of like you just might not be paying attention to other people because you're so focused on what you're doing, and you're focused on the matters in your life, and you're so excited about Taurus is about hard work. So you might be really, and Mercury and Gemini is about talking about that. So you might be really excited about talking about what you're working on, but it's kind of not what everybody wants to hear about all the time. So just make sure that you're, cognizant to listen sometimes and not just talk. Obviously your friends, your family, they love you, so they want to hear about your life, but that's just something to keep in mind. I know a couple people with this cusp, and I love my friends, and obviously I'd listen to them talk about anything, but it gets to a point where you're just like, okay, that's good for you, like I'm here for you, but I'm not gonna just sit here for like 30 minutes only listening about you, and you haven't even asked me how my day was. So just be mindful of other people, because you do care about them in your life. You are a social person. Obviously that depends based on the sign, whether it's romantic partnerships or like just friends or just people who you like to talk to in general. Okay, so then I also put that, let me see what else I wrote. Oh, yes, you can be very, very fun. You could be like the life of the party. Well, I guess it depends what planet's here. So you can be very fun and bubbly, but you can also be like the person who can step in if there's like a crisis, because you're quick with your mind, and then you're very practical with like the Taurus side of you. So you might be a good person to have around, again, depending on what planet's here, if something goes a little bit wrong. Or maybe you just might have good advice because you're good at like communicating things that are helpful, practical, or coming up with solutions in that way. So that could definitely be helpful if like somebody doesn't know what to do, and maybe you have Mercury here. Oh, I know somebody with a Mercury and Gemini, and it's like really close to Taurus. Maybe it's not on the cusp though, but yeah, they're not really good at taking their advice as much as they are as giving it. So your friends might like to listen to you if you talk about things that can help your friends. Okay, and then I also put, with these two energies, you have the blessing of the physical strength from the bull and the mental agility of the twins. So it's not as detrimental to your physical health as only having the Mercury. And then, yeah, so you get a nice balance of the physical and the mental strength. You can blend those together really nicely. So what else do I have to put? Oh, yes, you can be very, very fiercely romantic, just because Gemini likes things that are like fun and playful, and obviously Taurus is ruled by Venus, so that's a very like loving, passionate sign. So that can make you have like a nice, very fun, romantic way about you, especially if your Venus is on the cusp. That can make it very, very fun and interesting for your partner. It'll switch it up so that you won't be as predictable as like just the Venus and Taurus. Like if you're dating a Venus and Taurus, and it's not on the cusp, it's very easy to get like predict the habits, because after you've been with someone for a little bit, you can predict what they're going to do next. So this mutable Gemini energy, if you have your Venus on the cusp here, it'll give you a nice little like fun, unpredictable side to you. It'll be easy for you to change it up. I think that things might be very fun in the bedroom, because it can be like very sensual, but also very, you won't be afraid to try as many new things. Obviously it depends on the aspects of your planets and everything like that, and who you're with. But somebody with this on the cusp wouldn't be opposed to trying new things with somebody that they really care about. Yes. Oh, and then you also want to be careful because you can have a very indulgent side to your personality. Obviously, again, depending on the planet, just because Taurus also has that side to them that can be very like indulgent. It can like really feed into like addictions, like food addictions, drug addictions, things like that, just because it likes the pleasure. And then Gemini likes fun, so it's like pleasure, fun, like, ooh, let me get more. So you can be a little bit indulgent, whatever your addiction is. It could be shopping, it could be gambling, whatever it is for you. Probably going to be more sensory, like, you know, more sensory things that you overindulge in. But, you know, live your life, have fun, but just be cognizant of whether or not you're overindulging. That is all I really have to say for this cusp blend of energy. Yeah, I think that overall this is a pretty good blend. I mean, obviously it's not the best cusp in my opinion, but it's not a bad cusp at all. I think it's a pretty good blend of earth and air. So yeah, if you have anything that you'd like to add or anything that you think I missed, feel free to leave it below. If you have this cusp or planet on this cusp, leave it below with the degrees that you have this planet at, and maybe somebody has the same cusp as you. So yeah, I look forward to hearing what you have to say. See you in the next video.